Captain Alex Turner woke up in darkness. His head hurt, and his mouth tasted like metal. He tried to move, but his hands were tied behind his back with something that felt like wire. Slowly, his eyes got used to the dim light, and he saw that he was in a small metal room with bars on one side. "Alex, are you awake?" A voice whispered from nearby. He turned his head and saw Kate Williams, his ship's engineer, sitting against the wall in the next cell. Her red hair was messy, and she had a cut on her forehead, but she looked okay. "Kate, what happened?" "Where?" "Are we?" "We were attacked," she said quietly. "Strange ships came out of nowhere while we were heading to the colony. They hit us with some kind of weapon that made everyone fall asleep. When I woke up, we were here." Alex looked around and saw more cells. In one, he could see Sam Rodriguez, their medic, who was checking on someone Alex did not recognize. In another cell, Danny Chun, their navigator, was sitting with his eyes closed, probably trying to figure out where they were. "Is everyone okay?" Alex asked. "We are all alive," Sam said from his cell. "But we are not alone. There are people here from other worlds, other species. Some of them have been here for weeks." Alex stood up and walked to the bars of his cell. The corridor outside was filled with more cells, and he could see strange beings he had never seen before. Some looked like tall, thin cats with blue fur. Others were short and round with gray skin. A few looked almost human, but had extra arms or different colored eyes. "What do they want with us?" Danny asked, opening his eyes. Before anyone could answer, bright lights came on and footsteps echoed down the corridor. 3 tall creatures walked toward the cells. They looked like giant lizards walking on 2 legs, but they wore expensive clothes covered in jewels and gold. Their skin was dark green, and their eyes were yellow with black stripes. The biggest one stopped in front of Alex's cell. When it spoke, its voice came through a small device on its chest that translated the words into English. "Welcome, humans," it said. "I am Hunt Master Zaxron of the Kethvari Empire. You have been chosen for a great honor." "What kind of honor?" Alex asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Zaxron made a sound like laughing, but it was cold and mean. "You will participate in the Great Hunt. It is the most exciting sport in our empire." "What is the Great Hunt?" Kate asked from her cell. "It is simple," Zaxron replied. "We will take you to a special moon where you will be released into the wild. Then we will hunt you. If you survive for 7 days, you will be set free." The creatures around Zaxron made more laughing sounds. Alex felt his stomach turn cold. These aliens were talking about hunting people like animals. "Has anyone ever survived 7 days?" Sam asked. Zaxron tilted his head like a bird. "A few have tried. But the moon of Varegtal is dangerous. There are wild beasts, poisonous plants, and very little food or water. Most of the prey die from the environment before we even find them." "And if we refuse to participate?" Alex asked. "You do not have a choice," Zaxron said. "You are property of the Kethvari Empire now. You will hunt or you will die herein." These cells. Dr. Lisa Grant, a scientist who had been captured with another group, spoke up from a cell down the corridor. "How long have you been doing this?" "For thousands of years," Zaxron replied proudly. "The Great Hunt is our most ancient tradition. We have hunted every species we have encountered. Some provide better sport than others." "What makes good sport?" Lisa asked. "Intelligence helps," Zaxron said. "Smart prey is more challenging to catch, but not too smart, or they become dangerous instead of fun." Alex listened carefully to everything Zaxron said. The alien was treating this like a game, not real combat. That was important information. "When does the hunt begin?" Alex asked. "Tomorrow," Zaxron replied. "We will take you to Varegtal at dawn. The hunt will begin when the sun rises over the eastern mountains. Zaxron and his companions walked away, leaving the prisoners in their cells. As soon as they were gone, Alex moved close to the bars and whispered to his crew. Kate, Sam, Danny, listen to me. These aliens think they are playing a game. They have been hunting defenseless people for so long that they do not know what real fighting looks like. What are you thinking? Kate asked. I am thinking that they made a mistake when they captured us. They expect us to run around scared until they catch us, but we are not going to do that. Alex, Sam said, there are only 4 of us. How can we fight an entire hunting party? We are not going to fight alone, Alex replied. He looked around at all the other cells. There are dozens of people here from different worlds. If we work together, we might have a chance. But they do not even speak our language, Danny pointed out. Some of them do, Lisa said from her cell. I have been talking to them for days. Many of these species are more advanced than the Kethvari think. They have knowledge, skills, and abilities that could help us. Alex nodded. Lisa, can you help us organize everyone? We need to make a plan before tomorrow. What kind of plan? She asked. The kind that turns hunters into prey, Alex said grimly. 4. The rest of the night, Alex and his crew worked quietly with the other prisoners. They learned that the blue cat-like creatures were called Viridians, and they could move without making any sound. The gray creatures were called Granite People, and they were incredibly strong. The almost human beings were called Mentari, and they could communicate with their minds. Each species had different abilities and knowledge. The Viridians knew about plants and animals. The Granite People understood mining and construction. The Mentari could share thoughts and coordinate actions without speaking. The Kethvari do not know about our abilities, whispered Veltar, one of the Viridians. They only see us as prey to be hunted. That is their mistake, Alex replied. Tomorrow, we are going to show them what happens when prey fights back. As dawn approached, Alex could hear the aliens preparing for the hunt. Ships were starting their engines, and weapons were being loaded. The Kethvari were excited about their sport dock, but in the cells, the prisoners were ready too. They had spent the night planning, organizing, and preparing for war. The Kethvari thought they were taking frightened victims to their hunting moon. Instead, they were about to transport a small army. When the guards came to take them to the transport ships, Alex looked at each of his fellow prisoners. They were scared, but they were also determined. For the first time in thousands of years, the prey was ready to fight back. Remember the plan, Alex whispered as they were led toward the ships. We stick together, we use our strengths, and we show these aliens what humans do when someone tries to hunt us. The great hunt was about to begin. But this time, the Kethvari had no idea what they were really hunting. The transport ship landed on the moon of Verictel just as the sun was coming up. Alex Turner looked out through the small window and saw a world that was both beautiful and terrifying. Thick forests covered most of the land, with tall mountains. In the distance, an open grasslands between them. But he could also see the bones of large animals scattered near the landing site, and strange howling sounds came from the forest. Listen up, everyone, Alex said to the other prisoners as the ship's doors opened. Remember what we talked about. We stay together, we help each other, and we do not panic. The Kethvari guards pushed them out of the ship onto the rocky ground. Huntmaster Zaxron stood nearby, wearing hunting clothes instead of his fancy robes. He carried a weapon that looked like a crossbow, but it glowed with energy. Welcome to Varektal, Zaxron announced. This moon was once home to a civilization that thought they could resist the Kethvari Empire. As you can see, they were wrong. Alex looked around and saw the ruins of buildings scattered across the landscape. Some were just piles of stones, but others were still partly standing. The buildings were made of a strange metal that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. "You have 1 hour before the hunt begins," Zaxron continued. "Use that time to run, hide, or pray to whatever gods you believe in. We will find you all eventually." Most of the prisoners from other species immediately scattered, running in different directions into the forest. Alex could hear them crashing through the trees, making noise that would be easy to follow. "Come on," Alex said to his crew and the few prisoners who had stayed with them. "We need to get to those ruins." Kate Williams looked at the nearest building, which was about half a mile away. "Alex, why the ruins? Would it not be better to hide in the forest?" "The forest is where they expect us to go," Alex replied. "The ruins might have things we can use." Dr. Lisa Grant nodded. "The Kethvari said this was once a civilization. Maybe they left behind tools or weapons." The small group moved quickly toward the ruins. Along with Alex and his crew, they had Veltar the Viridian, 2 granite people named Thok and Grim, and a Mentari called Zeph, who could speak to the others with his mind. The nearest building was larger than it had looked from. The landing site. It was made of the same shimmering metal, and strange symbols were carved into the walls. Part of the roof had collapsed, but most of the structure was still solid. "This place feels old," Kate said, running her hand along the wall. "Really old." "The metal is not rusted," Thok observed. The granite person was almost as wide as he was tall, with skin that looked like stone. "This is good building material." Veltar, the blue-furred Viridian, sniffed the air. "I smell water nearby, and something else, something that might be food." As they explored the building, Danny Chun found something interesting. In what looked like a control room, there were panels covered with the same strange symbols as the walls. But when he touched one of the panels, it lit up with soft blue light. "This stuff still works," Danny said with excitement. "After all these years, some of this technology is still active." "Can you figure out what it does?" Alex asked. "Maybe. The symbols are different from anything I have seen before, but the layout looks similar to ship controls. Give me some time." While Danny worked on the alien technology, Kate examined the building's structure. "Alex, this place was built to last. The walls are thick, and there are only a few ways in or out. If we had to make a stand somewhere, this would be a good place." "Do you think we will have to fight?" Sam asked. He was checking the medical supplies they had managed to grab from the transport ship. "Yes," Alex replied. "The Kethvari think. This is a game, but we are going to show them it is a war." Zeph, the Mentari, closed his eyes and concentrated. After a moment, he opened them and looked worried. "I can sense the other prisoners. Most of them are panicking, running blindly through the forest, but I also sense something else. Dangerous creatures." The Kethvari were not lying about this place being full of predators. "What kind of predators?" Lisa asked. "Big ones," Zeph replied, "with sharp teeth and claws. They are hunting the prisoners who ran into the forest." Alex felt angry. The Kethvari had put everyone in danger, not just from the hunt, but from the wild animals on this moon. People were going to die because of their twisted game. "We need to help the others," Sam said. "We cannot just leave them out there. We will help them," Alex replied. "But first, we need to make this place defensible. Kate, what do you need? To set up some kind of barriers?" Kate looked around the building. "There are plenty of loose stones and metal pieces. With Thok and Grim's help, we could block some of the entrances and create better defensive positions." "Do it," Alex ordered. "Danny, keep working on those controls. Maybe we can find out more about this place." As his crew worked, Alex talked to the aliens who had stayed with them. "Veltar, you said you could smell water and food. Can you find safe sources of both?" The Viridian nodded. "Yes, but not far from here." There is a stream about a quarter-mile away, and I can smell fruit trees. But there are also predator scents in that direction. We will deal with the predators." Alex said, "Zeph, can you use your abilities to contact the other prisoners? Maybe guide some of them back here?" "I can try," Zeph replied, "but they are very scared. It will be hard to make them think clearly." For the next hour, the group worked to turn the ancient building into a fortress. Kate and the Granic people built barriers and set up defensive positions. Danny continued working on the alien technology, making slow progress with the symbol translations. Sam organized their limited medical supplies and food dot. Then they heard the sound of aircraft engines. "They are coming," Beltar said, his ears twitching. 6 flying machines, coming from the east. Alex looked out through a gap in the wall and saw the Kethvari hunting party approaching. They were riding in elegant flying vehicles that looked more like pleasure craft than military ships. The aliens were clearly expecting this to be easy and fun. "Everyone get ready," Alex said. "Remember, they think we are helpless prey. Let us show them how wrong they are." The Kethvari aircraft circled the ruins, looking for signs of the prisoners. Alex could see Hunt Master Zaxron in the lead vehicle, holding his energy crossbow and scanning the ground below. There, one of the aliens called out in their language. Movement in the big building. The aircraft moved closer, and Alex could see that the Kethvari were armed with various weapons that looked more decorative than practical. They wore hunting clothes with bright colors and shiny metal, making them easy to spot. "When I give the signal," Alex whispered, "everyone shoots at the same time. Aim for the engines and the pilot seats." The group had found several pieces of metal that could be thrown like spears. It was not much, but it might be enough to surprise the aliens. The lead aircraft came in low, and Hunt Master Zaxron called out through a speaker. "Humans, we know you are in there. Come out now, and we will give you a quick death." Alex waited until the aircraft was directly overhead. Then he shouted, "Now!" The improvised spears flew from different windows and gaps in the building. Most missed, but 2 hit the lead aircraft's engine, and another struck the pilot. The elegant flying machine spun out of control and crashed into the ruins of another building. The other Kethvari aircraft pulled back, their pilots shouting in alarm. This was clearly not what they had expected. Impossible. One of them called out, "The prey is fighting back." Alex smiled grimly. "Danny, any luck with those controls?" "I think so," Danny replied. "This building has some kind of defensive system. If I can figure out how to activate it." Suddenly, the panels around the room lit up with bright blue light. Outside, they could hear mechanical sounds as hidden weapon systems rose from the ruins. "What did you do?" Kate asked. "I think I just turned on this place's defenses," Danny said with a grin. The original owners of this moon were ready for war. The remaining Kethvari aircraft tried to attack the building, but beams of energy shot out from the ruins, forcing them to retreat. One of the aircraft was hit and crashed into the forest, while the others fled back toward their base. "This is impossible." Hunt Master Zaxron's voice came over the radio. "Prey does not fight back like this. Prey does not use weapons." Alex picked up the radio and spoke into it. "Hunt Master Zaxron, this is Captain Alex Turner. You made a mistake when you decided to hunt humans. We are not prey. We are predators." There was silence on the radio for a long moment. Then Zaxron's voice came back, but it sounded different, less confident. This is not how the Great Hunt works. You are supposed to run and hide, not fight back." "Hunt Master," Alex replied, "the Great Hunt just became a war, and we are very good at war." As the sun set on their first day on the hunting moon, Alex and his group had achieved something that had never happened before in thousands of years. Of the Great Hunt, They had fought back, and they had won the first battle. But Alex knew this was just the beginning. The Kethvari would return with more hunters and better weapons. The real war was about to start. Huntmaster Zaxron stood in the command center of his orbital station, staring at the reports from the hunting moon. 2 of his aircraft had been destroyed, and 6 hunters were missing. In thousands of years of the Great Hunt, nothing like this had ever happened. "This is impossible," he said to his second-in-command, a younger Kethvari named Vel Kroos. "Prey does not destroy hunting aircraft. Prey does not use weapons. Prey runs and hides until we catch them." "Huntmaster," Vel Kroos replied carefully, "perhaps these humans are different from other species we have hunted." Zaxron hissed with anger. "No species is different. We are the Kethvari. We have hunted every form of life we have encountered. These humans are just clever animals. Then how do you explain the destruction of our aircraft?" "Luck," Zaxron said firmly. "Pure luck. They found some old weapons in the ruins and got lucky shots. It will not happen again." But even as he spoke, Zaxron felt doubt creeping into his mind. The humans had not just gotten lucky. They had fought with skill and planning. They had turned the ruins into a fortress and used ancient technology against his hunters. On the surface of the moon, Alex Turner was organizing his growing resistance. Over the past 3 days, more prisoners had found their way to the ruins. Some were injured and scared, but others brought valuable skills and information. "Captain Turner," said Dr. Lisa Grant, "I have been studying the ancient technology with Danny. This building is not just a shelter. It is a command center." "What do you mean?" Alex asked. "The original inhabitants of this moon built a network of defensive systems. This building can control weapons platforms, communication arrays, and even environmental systems across the entire moon." Danny Chun looked up from the control panels where he had been working. "Lisa is right. I have been learning to read their symbols, and this place is like the brain of the entire moon. We can see where the Kethvari are, track their movements, and control defenses they do not even know exist." "How much of this system is still working?" Alex asked. "More than we thought," Danny replied. "The original builders were smart. They created systems that could repair themselves and run for thousands of years without maintenance." Kate Williams, who had been working on the building's defenses, joined the conversation. "If we can control the moon's systems, we can do more. And just defend ourselves. We can go on the attack." "What are you thinking?" Alex asked. "The Kethvari have hunting lodges and supply stations scattered across the moon. If we can take control of those, we can cut off their supplies and force them to come to us." Veltar, the Viridian scout, had been listening to the conversation. "Captain Turner, I have been watching the Kethvari patterns. They are predictable. They follow the same routes, use the same landing sites, and always approach from the same directions. That is because they have never had to worry about real resistance," Alex said. "They think this is still a game." Zeph, the Mentari, closed his eyes and concentrated. "I can sense more prisoners scattered across the moon. Some are hiding in caves, others in the forests. A few have been captured by the Kethvari. We need to rescue them," Sam Rodriguez said, "and we need to show them that they do not have to be victims." Alex looked around at his group. What had started as a few desperate prisoners had become a small army. They had humans, Viridians, Granite people, Mentari, and several other species working together. "All right," Alex said. "We are going to change the rules of this hunt. Danny, can you locate the nearest Kethvari supply station?" Danny worked at the controls for a few minutes. "There is one about 5 miles north of here. It looks like a small base with aircraft and weapons." "Perfect," Alex said. "We are going to pay them a visit tonight. Meanwhile, on the orbital station, Huntmaster Zaxron was preparing for his personal hunt. He had decided that the only way to restore order was to lead the next hunting expedition himself. "Velcros," he said, "prepare my personal aircraft and select 12 of our best hunters. We will go down to the surface and end this embarrassment." "Huntmaster, are you sure that is wise? The prey has already destroyed 2 aircraft and killed 6 hunters." "Velcros, I have been hunting for over 200 years. I have killed thousands of beings from dozens of species. These humans are just another type of prey." But as Zaxron prepared his weapons, he found himself thinking about the human voice on the radio, the one who had called himself Captain Turner. The human had spoken with confidence, like a warrior, not like frightened prey. That night, Alex led a strike team toward the Kethvari supply station. The group included Kate, Veltar, Thok, and 3 other prisoners who had military experience. They moved through the forest using paths that Danny had identified from the command center. The supply station was exactly what they had expected: a small base with 2 aircraft, a weapons storage building, and living quarters for the hunters. But what surprised Alex was how lightly defended it was. "There are only 4 guards," Veltar whispered. "They are not even watching the perimeter carefully." "They have never needed to," Alex replied. "Remember, for thousands of years, the only thing they have had to worry about is hunting defenseless prey." The attack was quick and efficient. Veltar and the other scouts disabled the guards silently, while Kate and Thok secured the weapon storage. Within minutes, the supply station was under their control. "Look at all this," Kate said, examining the captured weapons. "Energy rifles, hunting equipment, communication devices, and enough supplies to last weeks." "And aircraft," added one of the former prisoners, a pilot named Rick Stone. "I can fly these things." They are not much different from human aircraft, but the real prize was the communication equipment. Danny quickly connected it to the command center back at the ruins, giving them access to all Kethvari communications. "Alex," Danny said over the radio, "you need to hear this. The Kethvari Huntmaster is planning to come down to the surface tomorrow with 12 hunters. He is going to try to end the resistance personally." "Good," Alex replied. "Let him come." "We will." "Be ready." As they flew the captured aircraft back to the ruins, Alex felt a grim satisfaction. The Kethvari had made the same mistake that many enemies had made throughout human history. They had underestimated their opponents. The next morning, Huntmaster Zaxron led his elite hunting party down to the surface. His aircraft was the finest in the Kethvari fleet, armed with the best weapons and carrying the most experienced hunters. "Today, we end this embarrassment," he announced to his hunters. "We will kill the human leaders and scatter the rest of the prey." But as they approached the ruins, Zaxron saw something that made his blood run cold. The ancient buildings were no longer just shelters. They had been turned into a fortress, with defensive positions, weapons emplacements, and barriers that channeled attackers into killing zones. "This is not possible," he whispered. "How did prey learn to build defenses like this?" "Huntmaster," one of his hunters said, "should we call for reinforcements?" "No," Zaxron replied firmly. "We are the elite hunters of the Kethvari Empire. We do not need help to deal with prey." But as his aircraft approached the ruins, energy beams shot out from hidden positions. The ancient defensive systems that Danny had reactivated were now fully operational, and they were controlled by beings who understood warfare. 2 of Zaxron's aircraft were destroyed immediately. The others scattered, trying to find cover, but the ruins had been turned into a trap. Every approach was covered by weapons. Every hiding spot was exposed to fire from multiple directions. "Retreat," Zaxron shouted. "Fall back to the forest." But even the forest was no longer safe. The prisoners had spread out across the moon, using the ancient communication systems to coordinate their movements. Every time the Kethvari aircraft tried to land, they were met with resistance. By the end of the day, Huntmaster Zaxron had lost half his hunting party. His elite hunters were dead or scattered, and his aircraft were destroyed or captured. For the first time in his long life, he was the one being hunted. "Huntmaster," Velcros called over the radio from the orbital station, "what are your orders?" Zaxron looked around at the ruins of his hunting party. His elegant aircraft was damaged, his weapons were running low on power, and his confidence was shattered. "Velcros," he said quietly, "I think we may have made a mistake. These humans are not like other prey. They are something else entirely." "What do you mean?" "I mean," Zaxron said, looking at the fortress that had once been his hunting preserve, "I think we may have accidentally declared war on a species that is better at war than we are." As night fell on the hunting moon, the tables had completely turned. The Kethvari, who had come to hunt defenseless prey, found themselves trapped on a hostile world, surrounded by enemies who knew how to fight. And in the command center of the ancient ruins, Alex Turner was planning the next phase of the war. Huntmaster Zaxron sat in his damaged aircraft, hidden in a cave deep in the forest. Of the 12 elite hunters he had brought to the surface, only 3 remained alive. The others had been killed or captured by the resistance that had somehow grown from frightened prey into a deadly army. "Huntmaster," whispered Kethter, one of his surviving hunters, "we need to call for help. The orbital station has military ships. We could bring down real weapons, real soldiers." "No," Zaxron said firmly. "If word gets out that the great hunt has failed, that prey has defeated Kethvari hunters, it will destroy our empire's reputation. Other species will think they can resist us. But Huntmaster, we are trapped. The humans control the ruins. They have our weapons, and they seem to know our every move." Zaxron looked out at the forest. In the distance, he could see lights from the ancient fortress that had become the center of human resistance. Somehow, the prey had turned his hunting moon into their stronghold. "We will handle this quietly," he decided. "Velcros will send down a military strike team. We will eliminate the resistance and destroy all evidence of what happened here." In the orbital command station, Velcros was already making preparations, but he was worried. The humans had been silent for 2 days, and the orbital sensors could not penetrate the ancient shielding around the ruins. "Communications officer," Velcros ordered, "try to contact the Huntmaster again." "Sir, we have been trying for hours. There is no response from his aircraft. Then we must assume the worst. Prepare a military strike team. 12 combat aircraft, full weapons load. We will destroy the ruins and everything in them." But what Velcros did not know was that the humans had been very busy during those 2 days of silence. In the command center, Danny Chun had made a breakthrough. "Alex, I have figured out how to access the moon's complete defense network. This place has weapons we have not even seen yet." "What kind of weapons?" Alex asked. "Energy cannons that can shoot into space, missile systems hidden in the mountains, and something called a planetary shield that can protect the entire moon from orbital bombardment." Dr. Lisa Grant looked up from her research. The original inhabitants were not just defending against ground attacks. They were ready for space warfare. "Can you activate all of these systems?" Alex asked. "Yes, but it will take time. Maybe 6 hours to bring everything online." "Do it," Alex ordered. "Kate, what is the status of our captured aircraft?" Kate Williams smiled. "Rick and his team have been busy. We now have 8 working Kethvari aircraft, and we have figured out how to use their weapons." "Good, because I have a plan." Alex gathered his leadership team around the tactical display. "The Kethvari on the orbital station are going to send military forces to attack us. When they do, we are going to be ready." "What do you have in mind?" Sam Rodriguez asked. We are going to do something they will never expect. We are going to attack their orbital station. The room fell silent. Then Veltar, the Viridian scout, spoke up. Captain Turner, that is suicide. The station has military defenses, and we only have a few captured aircraft. No, Alex replied. We have something better. We have the element of surprise, and we have Danny's technical skills. Alex pointed to the display. Danny has been monitoring their communications. The station has exactly 18 military aircraft. When they send their strike team to attack us, most of those aircraft will be gone. You want to attack while they are attacking us? Kate asked. Exactly. While they are focused on bombing the ruins, a small team will infiltrate the station and disable their defenses. Then we turn their own weapons against them. Who goes on this mission? Rick Stone asked. I do, Alex said, along with Danny, Kate, and Veltar. The rest of you will defend the ruins and make sure the Kethvari think that is where all of us are. Sam looked worried. Alex, this is incredibly dangerous. If something goes wrong, you will all be trapped on that station. Sam, everything we have done has been dangerous. But we are not going to survive by hiding in these ruins forever. We need to take the fight to them. That night, as the Kethvari prepared their strike team, Alex and his infiltration team prepared to launch their desperate plan. They had one captured aircraft, modified by Kate to mask its energy signature. Danny had programmed false signals to make it appear like a damaged Kethvari ship returning from the surface. Remember, Alex said as they prepared to launch, we get onto that station. We disable their weapons and communications, and we hold it until the rest of our people can join us. And if we fail, Kate asked, then we make sure the Kethvari pay a high price for their victory. The infiltration team launched just before dawn, heading for the orbital station, while the Kethvari strike team prepared to attack the ruins. Alex watched the planet fall away below them and wondered if he would ever see it again. On the station, Velcros was giving final orders to his strike team. Destroy the ruins completely. Use maximum firepower. Leave nothing standing. Sir? The strike team leader asked, what about prisoners? Some of the prey might still be useful for future hunts. No prisoners, Velcro said firmly. This ends today. Kill everything that moves. As the strike team launched toward the surface, Alex's infiltration team approached the orbital station. Danny had done his work well. Their aircraft looked like a damaged Kethvari ship limping home from battle. Damaged hunter vessel. This is orbital control, came the voice from the station. State your condition. Danny responded in the Kethvari language, which he had been learning from their captured equipment. Control, this is Hunter 7. We have engine damage and wounded aboard. Requesting immediate docking. Understood, Hunter 7. Dock at Bay. 3. Medical team is standing by. As their aircraft settled into the docking bay, Alex felt his heart pounding. They were now inside the enemy's main base, surrounded by hundreds of Kethvari. If their disguise failed, they would be killed. Immediately. Stay calm, Alex whispered to his team. We are injured hunters returning from the surface. Act wounded and confused. The docking bay doors opened, and a medical team rushed toward their aircraft. But instead of wounded Kethvari, they found Alex and his team wearing captured hunting gear and carrying Kethvari weapons. Surprise, Alex said, and opened fire. The medical team was caught completely off guard. Within seconds, the infiltration team had control of the docking bay and was moving toward the station's main systems. Kate, you and Veltar take the weapons. Control center, Alex ordered. Danny, you are with me. We go for the main computer core. The station's corridors were filled with Kethvari, but most of them were technicians and support staff, not warriors. They scattered in panic as the human team moved through the station like a military unit. How did they know where to go? One Kethvari asked another as they hid in a side corridor. They have been studying us, the other replied. They know our ship designs, our procedures, everything. In the Weapons Control Center, Kate and Veltar found exactly what they needed. The station's main armament was controlled from a single location, and the Kethvari had never expected anyone to attack from inside. Kate, Veltar said, I can disable the weapons targeting systems. The Kethvari will not be able to fire on the surface. Do it, Kate replied. Then we turn these weapons on their own strike team. Meanwhile, Alex and Danny reached the main computer core. The room was filled with the same type of technology they had found in the ruins, but much more advanced. Danny, can you access their communication system? Already working on it, Danny replied, his fingers flying over the control panels. I can not only access it, I can control it. Alex, I can send false orders to their entire fleet. Do it. Tell the strike team to return to the station immediately. Make it sound like an emergency. As Danny worked, Alex activated the station's internal communication system. His voice echoed through every corridor and room on the orbital station. Attention, Kethvari personnel. This is Captain Alex Turner of the Human Resistance. Your weapons are now under our control. Your communications are under our control. Your station is under our control. In the command center, Velcro stared at the speakers in disbelief. This is impossible. How did Prey get onto our station? Sir, his communications officer reported, we are receiving a recall order for the strike team. They are being ordered to return immediately. I did not give that order, Velcro said. Then he realized what was happening. The humans. They are controlling our systems. Over the COM system, Alex's voice continued. Commander Velcros, I know you can hear me. Your strike team is returning to the station. When they arrive, they will find that their base is no longer under Kethvari control. This is madness, Velcros said. You are just prey. You cannot defeat the Kethvari Empire. Commander, Alex replied, you keep calling us prey, but let me explain something to you. Humans are not prey. We are apex predators. And you just gave us access to your biggest weapon. In the Weapons Control Center, Kate had taken control of the station's main guns. The massive energy cannons that were designed to destroy planets were now aimed at the returning Kethvari strike team. Alex, Kate said over the comm, the strike team is approaching. Do you want me to destroy them? Alex thought for a moment. No. Disable their engines and weapons, but do not kill them. We want prisoners, not martyrs. The energy beams from the orbital stat. 3 months had passed since the Resistance captured the orbital station above the hunting moon of Virecto. The Kethvari Empire had sent no rescue ships, no military response, no communication at all. It was as if they had decided to pretend. The entire incident had never happened, but Alex Turner knew better. The Kethvari were not ignoring what had happened. They were afraid. Captain, Dr. Lisa Grant said as she entered the command center of what had once been the Kethvari Orbital Station. We have another message from the Viridian home world. They want to send a delegation to meet with us. Alex looked up from the tactical display he had been studying. That makes 6 species in the past week. Word is spreading fast. It makes sense, Kate Williams said from her position at the engineering station. For thousands of years, species across the galaxy have been living in fear of the Kethvari Empire. Now they hear that someone not only survived the Great Hunt, but actually won. Danny Chun, who had become the station's chief technology officer, added, and it is not just the hunting victims. I have been monitoring communications across this sector. Even species that were allied with the Kethvari are reconsidering their Positions. The hunting moon below had changed dramatically. What had once been a preserve for alien hunters was now a thriving colony. The ancient ruins had been rebuilt into a city that served as home to dozens of different species. Former prisoners who had once been prey now worked together as equals, building something new. Sam, what is the population down there now? Alex asked. Sam Rodriguez, who had become the colony's medical director, checked his reports. Just over 2,000 beings from 23 different species, and more arrive every week. Escaped prisoners from other hunting operations? Some of them, but also refugees from Kethvari territory, and even some who are just curious about what we have built here. Alex nodded. The transformation had been remarkable. The hunting moon had become a symbol of hope for oppressed species throughout the galaxy. But he knew that success would eventually bring new challenges. Captain, Veltar said as he entered the command center. The Viridian had become the colony's chief scout and intelligence officer. We have detected ships approaching the system. 3 vessels, unknown configuration. Kethvari? Alex asked. No, sir, these are different. The energy signatures do not match any known Kethvari designs. Put them on screen, Alex ordered. The main display showed 3 sleek ships approaching. The system. They were smaller than Kethvari vessels, but they moved with precision and purpose. As they got closer, Alex could see that they were well-armed and clearly military. Incoming communication, Danny announced. Put it through. The screen showed the bridge of the lead ship. The captain appeared to be human, a woman with short gray hair and admiral's insignia on her uniform. This is Admiral Susan Mitchell of the Terran Defense Force, she said. We are looking for Captain Alex Turner. Alex felt his heart skip. This is Captain Turner. Admiral, how did you find us? Captain, your distress signal reached human space 2 months ago. We have been tracking Kethvari activity in this sector ever since. When we heard about a resistance movement that had captured a major Kethvari installation, we had to investigate. Admiral, I am glad to see you, but this is a long way from human space. You must have come here for a reason. Admiral Mitchell smiled. Captain, the entire galaxy is talking about what you did here. A handful of prisoners not only survived the Great Hunt, but captured a Kethvari military station and established a free colony. That is the kind of story that changes everything. What do you mean? I mean that Earth has decided to take a more active role in this region of space. The Kethvari Empire has been a threat to human expansion for decades. What you have accomplished here gives us the opportunity to do something about it. Alex looked around at his crew. They had survived by working together, by turning prey into predators. Now it seemed like their small victory was becoming something much larger. Admiral, we are not just humans here. We have refugees from dozens of species, all working together to build something new. I know, Captain, and that is exactly what makes this so important. You have created the first successful multi-species resistance to Kethvari rule. Other species are going to want to join you. As if to prove the Admiral's point, Danny announced, Sir, we have more ships approaching. A lot more ships. A tactical display showed dozens of vessels entering the system. Ships of all sizes and configurations, representing species from across the galaxy. This is Captain Threnver of the Mentari Freedom Fleet, came a voice over the communication system. We request permission to join the resistance. This is Commander Velanash of the Zerif Liberation Force. We have heard of your victory against the Kethvari. We wish to fight alongside you. This is the Granite People War Council. We bring weapons and warriors to your cause. Alex stared at the display in amazement. What had started as a desperate fight for survival had become something he had never imagined, a galactic revolution. Admiral Mitchell, Alex said, it looks like we have more company than we expected. Captain, this is exactly what we hoped would happen. For too long, the Kethvari have terrorized this region of space. Now, finally, someone has shown that they can be defeated. Over the next several hours, representatives from dozens of species arrived at the system. They came in. Ships of all sizes, from massive battle cruisers to small scout vessels. Each group brought the same message. They had heard about the resistance, and they wanted to join the fight. In the main conference room of the orbital station, Alex found himself facing representatives from more species than he had ever seen. In one place, there were the familiar faces of his original crew and the aliens who had fought alongside them. But there were also dozens of new faces, beings from worlds he had never heard of. Representatives, Alex began, 3 months ago, we were prisoners facing death in the Great Hunt. Today, we seem to have started something much bigger than any of us imagined. A tall, crystalline being that introduced itself as Ambassador Crintel spoke up. Captain Turner, what you have accomplished here is more than a military victory. You have proven that the Kethvari are not invincible. For the first time in thousands of years, prey has become predator. But now what? Asked Commander Velanash of the Zerif. We have ships and weapons, but the Kethvari Empire controls hundreds of worlds. How do we fight something that large? Dr. Lisa Grant, who had been studying intelligence reports, answered, We do not fight them all at once. We do what we did here. We free their prisoners, we capture their installations, and we show other species that resistance is possible. A guerrilla war, said Admiral Mitchell. Hit-and-run tactics, propaganda, liberation of prison worlds. Turn their own hunting system against them. But who leads this resistance? Asked Captain Thrender of the Mentari. Who coordinates the attacks and decides strategy? The room fell silent. Alex realized that everyone was looking at him. I am just a cargo ship captain, Alex said. I never planned to start a revolution. Captain, Veltar said, you organized the first successful resistance to a Kethvari hunt in their entire history. You turned prisoners into soldiers and prey into predators. If anyone can lead this fight, it is you. Alex looked around the room at all the faces, human, alien, former prisoners, and new allies. They were all looking at him with hope and determination. All right, Alex said finally, but we do this right. We are not just another empire trying to conquer territory. We are fighting for the freedom of all species to live without fear. The representatives erupted in cheers and sounds of approval from a dozen different species. So what is our first target? Asked Admiral Mitchell. Danny Chun activated the main display, showing a map of Kethvari space. I have been analyzing their communications and supply routes. There is a major prison complex in the Kethvar system, about 2 weeks' travel from here. It holds thousands of prisoners from dozens of species. Perfect, Alex said. We free the prisoners, capture the complex, and send a message to the galaxy that the age of the Great Hunt is over. As the representatives began planning their first coordinated assault, Alex stepped outside onto the observation deck. Through the transparent walls, he could see the hunting moon below, now glowing with the lights of a free city. Above, the ships of the resistance fleet hung in space like stars. Kate Williams joined him at the window. Alex, do you think we can really do this? Can we defeat an empire that has ruled for thousands of years? Alex watched a shuttle launch from the surface, carrying representatives back to their ships. Kate, 3 months ago, we were in prison cells, waiting to be hunted for sport. Now we are planning to liberate an entire sector of space. That is not an answer. Alex smiled. Kate, I have learned something about humans and about the species we have met. When people are pushed too far, when they are treated like animals, they eventually push back. The Kethvari made their biggest mistake when they decided to hunt us for fun. What mistake was that? They turned prey into predators. And predators do not just survive, they hunt. As the Resistance fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace, heading for their first target, Alex thought about Huntmaster Zaxron, still trapped somewhere on the surface below. The alien had come to the hunting moon, expecting easy prey. Instead,